Imagine it. The year is 1559. 11 Spanish ships bob anxiously in the emerald waters of Pensacola Bay. The air is still, the skies brooding with an unease that only seasoned sailors can sense. These vessels are packed with over 1,000 people, soldiers, settlers, clergy, and all the tools and livestock needed to establish a permanent colony on the unfamiliar coast of what would become the southeastern United States. Their leader, Tristan de Luna y Arellano, is under royal orders to establish the colony of Santa Maria de Ochuse, a beachhead in Spain's quest to control North America. But they've arrived during hurricane season. When the storm hits, it hits hard. It's a howling, churning wall of wind and water. Anchors fail. Waves crash over the decks. Within hours, 6 ships, including vital supply vessels, are lost. The dream of a flourishing Spanish colony in Florida dies almost as quickly as it began. But beneath the swirling silt of Pensacola Bay, in the fractured remains of a sunken ship, something astonishing would survive for nearly 5 centuries. The bones of 2 passengers long forgotten, silent, delicate remnants of the first domestic cats to set paw on what would become the United States. The doomed expedition, one of Spain's earliest colonizing efforts in the Americas, would be largely lost to history, if not for modern archaeology. In 2006, researchers located the remains of one of the lost vessels, now known as Emanuel Point II. The ship was buried in sand and mud, concealed beneath the tranquil waves just offshore from Pensacola, Florida. Archaeologists from the University of West Florida began excavating the wreck, expecting to find iron nails, broken pottery, perhaps military equipment. What they did not expect was a glimpse into the lives of the expedition's most overlooked members, its animals. Amidst the ship's remains, they found the partial skeletons of 2 cats, one adult, one juvenile. At first they were just bones, but with careful analysis they became evidence of one of the earliest feline voyages to continental North America. The find was formally described in a study published on April 14, 2025, in the journal American Antiquity. Co-authored by Martin Welker, a zooarchaeologist from the University of Arizona, and John Bratton, an anthropologist at the University of West Florida, the paper details how these cat remains help rewrite our understanding of early transatlantic animal introductions. Our current understanding is that all domestic cats come from ancestors in the Middle East, so they had to be introduced to the Americas by people, Welker explained. This means cats weren't just passive stowaways, they were brought with purpose. Their journey mirrored that of the humans who domesticated them. Previously, archaeologists had discovered cat remains at early Spanish and Taíno settlements in the Caribbean, such as Enbas Salina in Haiti, a site visited by Christopher Columbus in 1492. But Columbus never reached the mainland US, making these Florida cats among the first to do so. To understand more about the cats, Welker and Bratton's team used a trio of advanced scientific techniques: zooarchaeological comparison, isotopic analysis, and ancient DNA testing. First, the team compared the bones with those of modern domestic cats, confirming that they were indeed Felis catus. Then came isotopic testing, analyzing chemical signatures locked into the cat's bones. This told a surprising story. The adult cat wasn't eating rats, as one might expect for a shipboard Mauser. Instead, its diet was consistent with that of the sailors, likely scraps of salted pork, dried beans, or hardtack rations. What was interesting is that our cat was not eating the rats on board the ship, but had a diet more in line with what we'd expect for the sailors, Bratton said in an email interview. This wasn't just a tool for pest control, it may have been a shipmate, even a pet. The DNA analysis confirmed that the cat's ancestry traced back to European domestic breeds, which themselves had ancient roots in the Fertile Crescent. This means these cats likely boarded the ship in a Spanish port, or possibly while the fleet was resupplying in Mexico before heading to Florida. The role of cats in early European societies was well established. Revered by the ancient Egyptians, transported by Phoenician traders, and widely adopted by the Romans, cats had long been humanity's allies against rodent infestations. On seafaring vessels, their presence was nearly universal by the 16th century. Still, this is the earliest physical evidence of cats in what is now the continental US. According to Welker, the Spanish expeditions in Florida were really the first opportunities for domestic cats to reach what is today the US. They were practical companions, but their presence also represents something more profound, the quiet co-migration of humans and animals. Just as pigs, cows, and horses were introduced into the New World, so too were the creatures that shared our hearths. The fact that the adult cat was likely fed by sailors speaks volumes about the relationships between people and animals during this era. On long voyages where loneliness, disease, and monotony weighed heavily, the presence of a cat could offer comfort and familiarity. It was interesting to think about the idea of the cat being a pet, or one that was looked after by the Spanish sailors, Bratton added. The researchers suggest that even though cats were originally domesticated for pest control, by the 1500s they had become valued companions, silent observers of human drama, often bonded with individuals aboard the ships. Today, more than 600 million domestic cats roam the globe. In the United States, roughly 1 in every 3 households includes a cat. But the roots of this cultural and biological spread can be traced back to moments like these: a long-forgotten hurricane, a sunken Spanish galleon, and 2 cats quietly tucked into the corner of a doomed ship. These felines didn't just arrive in the New World, they helped shape it. Whether as vermin control or emotional ballast, their role in colonization, though often unspoken, was real. The bones of the Emanuel Point II cats are more than artifacts. They are time travelers, feline passengers on one of the earliest European attempts to reshape the Americas. And now, thanks to careful science and a bit of historical curiosity, they've been given a voice. History isn't always written in grand battles or royal decrees. Sometimes it's in a rib bone or a whisker, in the quiet companionship of a cat, in the shared rations of a sailor, in the unbroken line between then and now. So the next time your cat curls beside you, purring softly in the evening light, remember, it may be the descendant of a sailor's companion, a whiskered wanderer that helped colonize a continent. If you enjoyed this story of science, history, and hidden connections, don't forget to subscribe. Because the past isn't just buried, it's waiting to be rediscovered.